This is Byron Gordon for the SES Conference Channel, and we are at SES Chicago Day 2, where we've just concluded the social media checklist panel. And we're talking to Brian Boland of Facebook. Brian?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. We heard today, Brian, about social media and something of its presence, if you will. First, highlight for us a little bit some of your checklists as someone working for Facebook. And Facebook has such a huge presence, obviously. But review just a little bit for those that are still trying to get their arms around this beast. A little bit of the checklist on your end.
Great. Yeah, I think the interesting thing that businesses are learning is that it's important in social media to understand a couple things. One, who your business is and what your objectives are, because social media is such a broad topic. You know, if you look at the definition of social media, there's not a great one that really captures everything that it is. There's a ton of different outlets.
You want to give us a short one?
A short definition? I'll give you a short definition. I think it's the kind of identity that's online that enables people to share, create, and drive connections across media, right? So whether they're blogging or whether they're liking something, there's a whole different set of interactions that put a social context onto things. We like to talk about the social graph, which is how users connect and how people connect online and connect with different businesses and objects. But when businesses are thinking about how they can take advantage of social media, it's so critical they start with a good understanding of what their business goals are, and then they have a good understanding of what does that map to in the social media space. So you look at Facebook, there's a whole range of opportunities for people to get involved. They can get involved by creating a page, they can get involved by driving advertising that takes people off-site, that takes people to their page, and they really all work together. So there's an important understanding of what you're trying to get your audience to do so that you can find the right channel to reach them with, right? So if it's, I want to be able to dialogue and build a conversation with them, you can do a lot with your page. If you really want to drive somebody to your site to learn about your product or to buy a product, the ads are a great way to do that. You can also use the ads to drive people to your page so that they become a fan and then you can engage in that conversation. There's just so many emerging ways that businesses can use it. It's good that they take a step back and say, okay, here's my business, here's who I'm trying to reach, and then what does that mean from an outlet standpoint?
Social media involves engagement, obviously, but there's that concern of, are you giving up some of your brand, trying to retain control? What's your opinion about that?
I thought it was a fascinating conversation about control of your brand because the conversation's going on, right? Whether you are in the conversation or out of the conversation, it's very likely there's a conversation going on. And if you stay out of it, the conversation is going to go in a direction that you can't participate in and influence. If you get involved in the conversation, you can develop some very meaningful connections with the people who like your brand or don't like your brand and start to shift it in the right direction. So you can get people to be more loyal, get people over whatever concerns they have about your brand. But the conversation's happening, right? You're just choosing whether to participate or not.
We know now that there are many devices that connect us to the internet. The average person has maybe 2 devices on them at any given time. That's, at least that seems to be the average we're hearing. Yep. Out of curiosity, do you find at Facebook, are more people logging onto Facebook via mobile now? Do you have any insight into that that you could share with us?
Yeah, mobile's growing and it's been great for us. We just hit 350 million users in Facebook overall. 65 million of those log in on a mobile device at some point during the month. So it's a huge growing segment, especially as the platforms and smartphones become more ubiquitous. So the iPhone and now the Droid and the different smartphones make it very easy for you to have a really rich experience. We're seeing a lot of people update and engage and have the conversation directly from their mobile device, which I think is going to continue to happen.
Any final tips or suggestions for a business, small or large, that wants to engage in social media but is still somewhat on the fence about it?
Yeah, I think there's an important thing of stepping back and looking at who you are as an individual and what outlets you use for social media, right? Like, you know who you are and where you'll receive the messages. Start there and then start testing, right? So there are different ways that you can do trial on the Facebook ads. So you get a coupon or you can do the Facebook ads to give it a try. Before you jump into some of these heavier things like a page and really driving the dialogue, you want to make sure that you can commit to that dialogue on an ongoing basis. So it's so important to think about who you are, how would you want to receive your own message, and start there and then give it some try.
Brian, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, and there's more to come from SES Chicago Day 2. Stay tuned.